Airports Corporation Limited. Keep flying.
The happy world of 5FM Radio, your adult contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
And now, with the main news bulletin, this is Grace Msimuko.
Good afternoon. This is 5FM Main News. The headlines. Government commits to restore various ecosystems in Central Province. President Hakainde Hichilema emphasizes government support for digitization. Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine arrested. This bulletin is also streaming live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia. The details. Green Economy and Environment Minister Collins Nzovu says the government will do everything possible to ensure that the various ecosystems in Central Province are restored. Mr. Nzovu said charcoal burning is a worrying trend being noticed in Ngabwe district. He said Ngabwe district resources, in particular, rich forestry resources, but because remoteness, it is a difficult place to reach. The river system supplies water to over 50% of the population of Lusaka.
Because of its difficulties to reach this place, the road network is not very, very good. It has remained, first of all, underdeveloped, but it has also maintained its richness in natural resources. It's opening up. And the New Dawn government is repairing the roads in this area. On the downside of it, this has encouraged the illegal charcoal burning. So a lot of trucks are coming to get charcoal here.
President Hakainde Hichilema has insisted that public leaders acknowledge the value of digitization transformation, contrary to the perception that digitization may lead to job losses. Speaking during the ongoing Digital Government Africa 2023, Africa's first ministerial e-government summit, President Hichilema notes that there could be direct jobs that can be affected. However, more indirect jobs would be created by digital transformation to keep the economy running. The head of state says embracing digital transformation is critical for accelerated development. Working hours would consequently be pushed beyond the traditional 8 hours. President Hichilema has added that considering digital transformation in the mining sector will help the country to increase mining tonnage and increase revenue generation.
I am saying so as a public sector leader, because sometimes the assumption is that politicians, public sector managers are not willing to transform. I want to stand to represent other leaders on this continent, that if that was the case before, 10 or so years ago, it is not the case now. Leaders like myself acknowledge the importance of digital transformation.
The Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, has expressed concern that land allocation through the local authorities has been problematic as they do not have specialized systems to ensure they document the data. Speaking during the launch of Land Transparency Portal today, TIZ Active Citizenship Officer Patrick Walia notes that most of the marginalized people are taken advantage of and convinced to acquire land through corrupt practices due to lack of information. Mr. Walia says, therefore, the aim of the project is to address corruption risks that prevent full utilization of land by the vulnerable people, further stating that TIZ has developed information and education materials for the purpose of awareness raising.
Land allocation to the local authorities has been problematic, basically because it is not computerized. Information is not. Even when they do advertisements for land, land sale of land, only a few people. that a lot of people are taken advantage of because they don't have information. So the lack of information really points to the presence of corruption.
And TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe says the institution has been implementing this project in 4 districts, namely Chibombo, Choma, Mansa, and Kasempa.
As an institution, we have been implementing this project, as Mr. Wale mentioned earlier, in 4 districts in Zambia, these being Chiwombo, Choma, Mansa, and Kasempa. And we have been collaborating with different stakeholders, including government, to combat corruption in the land sector through this project. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is undeniable that land issues in Zambia are of paramount importance due to competing demands for housing, for investment.
Meanwhile, Zambia Land Alliance paralegal officer Mutafala Samalumo has challenged the general public to access the land transparency portal so that they access the right information and procedures on how to acquire land. UPND Kalomo Central Member of Parliament Kamboni says the UPND administration knows that it can be voted out of office on the basis of high milling prices. Hence, it is working around the clock to address the issue. Speaking when he featured on the Thursday edition of the Burning Issue program, Mr. Kamboni says, however, the party in government does not want to create another huge problem through rash decisions regarding solving the issue of milling prices. He has indicated that currently the country is grappling with high fuel prices and milling prices, adding that efforts are being made to reduce the cost of these commodities. Mr. Kamboni says citizens should exercise patience as government will address these issues with lasting solutions. He has observed that subsidizing these commodities may lead to another issue affecting other strides made so far.
To solve a problem, you need a problem. I do understand that, yes, at the moment, there are a lot of people who are feeding. That I cannot dispute. There are people who are on the edge on the price of milk. That we understand, and we understand there's a problem. We had a problem with load shedding, and Zambians had almost become impatient. We told them, give us a bit of time. We'll solve this. We solved load shedding. When we got into power, students did not have a meal allowance. We were under pressure. Students would demonstrate. Give them meal allowance now. We said, no, we don't have the money. Give us a bit of time. Meal allowance is there with the students. So we have had a number of challenges that we have had. You know, taking over a country like Zambia was like you buy a car that you think is okay.
In the meantime, Mr. Kamboni says the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, has resulted into significant development in his constituency, especially in the education sector.
I can pick one word and I'll tell you what we have done. Yes. Last week I was in Spatunyana. You go through Msimuko, we have done 1 by 2. They are almost finishing now, building. Go to Inkumbi, another polling station, we finished 1 classroom block. Go to Kasikili, they are finished, they have already roofed 1 by 3 classroom block. We have given them 3 spray laces. This is just one polling station, one ward. So there are a number of things we have done. Each ward has had something. I have now 1 classroom at Kanchere in Chawila ward awaiting handover.
In other news trending this afternoon, Fight Inequality Alliance Zambia has recommended that the government prioritizes efforts to enhance revenue mobilization by diversifying income sources that do not hit the poor. Former Minister of National Guidance and Religious Affairs, Godfrida Somaili, has called for reconciliation between the ruling and the opposition political parties ahead of the National Day of Prayer, Fasting and Reconciliation, which falls on 18th October. Up next, business news.
From Radio Business News, we mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
In business, former Bank of Zambia BOZ Governor Caleb Fundanga has appealed to citizens to take advantage of the various incentives which have been provided by the government in the 2024 national budget to help unlock the country's economy. Dr. Fundanga notes that the incentives are encouraging Zambians to enhance their production of goods for the betterment of the country's economy. Dr. Fundanga says Zambians should therefore rise to the occasion in order to drive the country's economy by producing goods and services to reduce dependence on importation. He says this is one way citizens can actively participate in economic development.
The various incentives that are provided are in response to submissions from people and also from the ministry itself. But the population, the people have to take advantage of the incentives provided in order that we can realize something. So the appeal generally is all Zambians, we should not expect somebody to come and produce for us. We should do it ourselves. And I think that's the challenge when he's saying that we should all participate in the development process. I think that's the most important message.
In foreign news, the party in Uganda says its leader, Robert Kyagulanyi, alias Bobi Wine, was arrested at Entebbe International Airport as he returned from abroad. The National Unity Party had been planning to hold rallies and described his arrest as cowardly. A video recording on social media showed Bobi Wine being grabbed by a group of men as he stepped out of the plane. A roundup from the BBC.
The main opposition party in Uganda says its leader, Bobi Wine, has been arrested at Entebbe Airport as he returned from abroad. The National Unity Party called his arrest cowardly. Ahead of his return, the police had said a planned procession from the airport was illegal. President Yoweri Museveni has been criticised for being increasingly intolerant of the opposition. Mauritius has reversed a colonial-era law that criminalised same-sex relations with jail terms of up to 5 years. The Supreme Court agreed with funds from the rights group Young Queer Alliance that the law violated fundamental rights. Taiwan has registered its strongest winds since records began more than a century ago. One gust of wind from Typhoon Koinu reached 340 kilometres an hour. A theatre in Norfolk in eastern England says it's discovered the only surviving stage on which William Shakespeare performed as an actor.
In sports news, Newcastle United and the Toon Army had waited 2 decades for a Champions League night like one yesterday, and when it came, it was with every day and all the disappointments in between after an electrifying night on Tyneside. As the gaudy hordes filed down the hill past statues of Sir Bobby Robson and Alan Shearer, manager and Barcelona won 2-0 in the last Champions League game at St. James Park in March 2003. It almost looked like they were walking on air. And now the lunchtime weather report.
Class Econ Roofing Africa.
Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy.
Class Econ Africa. Class Econ.
Muchinga, Northern Wapula, Copperbelt, Northwestern, Lusaka, and Central provinces, including the northern parts of Western Province, partly cloudy, windy at times, and warm to hot. Maximum temperatures will range between 28 degrees centigrade and 37 degrees centigrade. The evening will be partly cloudy, windy at times, and warm to mild. That brings us to the end of the news. Before we go, a recap of the top stories. Government commits to restore various ecosystems in Central Province. President Hakainde Hichilema emphasizes government support for digitization. And criticism as UN-backed probe into Ethiopia to end. For these and more stories, you can follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM Radio. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Grace Msimuko. Stay blessed.